folks. She don't know how to Millie Rock, yeah.
Don't tell people that.
It's too late. They know. It's a video.
So this morning, I'm going to share with you more of the details surrounding this tragedy, as this is the most horrendous and horrific crime that I've experienced throughout my entire career. With what we witnessed throughout this investigation, the defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children. Again, I have never witnessed anything this horrific in my entire career.
Tell me, when you think of an infantry soldier, what is the first thing that comes to mind? For me, I think of someone who was protecting and serving in the Army. As an infantry soldier in the U.S. Army, by definition, you work to defend your country against any threats on the ground and serve in the field on the front line. You'll capture, destroy, and deter enemy forces, assist in investigations, and help mobilize troops and weaponry to support the mission as the ground combat force. Anyone that puts their life on the line so others can be free is a person of great courage and strength, I believe. In Daytona, Florida, a man by the name of Charles Leon Ivy would be that stand-up person who took pride in serving his country and wanted to stand apart from others. After his service, he would go on to establish multiple businesses in Daytona and was really like a jack of all trades. He would host a podcast called Ears to the Street and had multiple guests appear. Plus, he was always down to support a positive cause if it was going to better the community. So, how did a man so beloved and a man that put his life on the line to serve his country end up being the number one alleged suspect in torturing at home their mother and her 3 kids inside to burn alive? 34-year-old Charles Ivy is a father, veteran, and business owner. He was a former 11 Bravo infantry with the U.S. Army and worked at the 2nd Stryker Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division. In February 2016, he became part owner of the Lion's Den Hookah Cafe with the Afrocentric centered theme.
What's going on, y'all? This is 386 Promoter, here to tell y'all about Volume 6 of I Got the Mic going down. It's great, and you know it. Come support local talent. Lions Den.
Charles would have his own landscaping business called Royal Cuts, where Charles' business model was to work hard and be dedicated so it can cultivate a positive result. He took great pride in giving his clients great results and was a hard worker. However, hard work and no play was not on his agenda. He would father at least 3 kids by 2017, and even though his work took over 99% of his social media, he had the occasional post with special moments with 3 of his kids. At some point, Charles would be in a very serious relationship with a young woman whom I will not name, but he always shared her on Facebook, and they would travel and work together. According to Charles, she was wife material. Now, Charles was loved by her family, and his girlfriend's mother called him her son-in-law. Naturally, his girl was always at the Lion's Den Hookah Cafe and may be part owner too, but I'm not for sure on that fact. However, many women would frequent the Lion's Den, and one lady, Denise Moore, would be one of the women who would be a regular at the spot. She would go and enjoy her hookah, watch the local talent, and just vibe out. I don't know for a fact, but it seemed through my research, she may have met Charles there, and at some point, they would develop a liking for each other. Now Charles is in a relationship that seems to be by all means fulfilling online, but at some point, he will cross that line and enter an intimate relationship with Denasia. After that line was crossed, Charles would not seem to be interested in much more because Denasia would have multiple Facebook posts that told their story. See, according to Denasia, her Facebook said she was ready for true love. It was the summer of 2017, and she was preparing for her college graduation at the end of the year. She would have subliminal messages where one day she seemed to be in love, and the next she did not want to be bothered with no man, and she did not want to play no games. You could tell that she had some ups and downs, but that will only be the beginning. See, Denasia would soon find out she was pregnant with her first child, and as excited as she was, she still wanted to have that full family. Charles was not going to be that because he was in a relationship. However, he was the father of the child, and I believed he planned on keeping that pregnancy a secret because he was in love with the girl that he had been dating. Denasia will post, "Why y'all dudes get other females pregnant and have a lady, then try to hide that you got a baby on the way? How you going to explain that when it's your weekend to get the baby?" Denasia was speaking the truth because if he chooses to lay down with her and she became pregnant, then he needs to man up like he did with his other kids. If he lost his main girlfriend, then so be it, because as a father, he has a responsibility to take care of his child that he made. All through Denasia's pregnancy, she would carry on to the best that she knew how, while Charles was posting pictures and videos of the woman he truly wanted to be with, going places, taking trips, and so on. Denasia seemed to keep it cute and mute, and come December 2017, she would graduate with a degree in criminal justice, and also on the side, she would do hair, so life seemed to be going good. Their son, Dakota Ivy, will be born in April 2018, and Charles was still with his same girlfriend he had before getting Denasia pregnant. Maybe the secret life was working for them, but that all will soon be disturbed. Less than 2 months after the birth of Dakota, Charles would impregnate Denasia again, and she would go on to have a little girl named Dove Marie Ivy in February 2019, a few months before her son would turn 1. Now you know all hell hit the fan because Charles was still in a relationship with that same girl. I do not know at what point that he had the 2 babies on her that it came to light and she found out about it, but her social media status now says she is single. Sadly, there was something brewing between Charles and Denasia that would end very tragically. Some years would pass, and Denasia would date, and she would become pregnant again in 2022 with her 3rd child, a little boy that she would name Messiah, who had a different father. On November 21st, 2023, the Daytona Beach police and firefighters were called to a home around midnight for a fire and found the building fully engulfed in flames and large plumes of smoke billowing from the windows. When an officer approached the door, he saw a set of keys in front of it and unlocked it, according to the report. The officer and firefighter would navigate their way through the smoke-filled home and found 3 young kids, including a 10-month-old boy, in a crib. They would rush them out to the hospital, and as they would rescue the kids, their mother, Denasia, was found tragically punctured by a knife in multiple places and was unalive on arrival. As 3 kids would suffer from the smoke engulfing the house, the 10-month-old boy would tragically pass away at the hospital. The other 2 kids would be 4-year-old Dove and 5-year-old Dakota, who would be listed in critical condition but still alive. Investigators quickly realized the fire was intentionally set in 2 locations. All 4 burners on the stove were turned on and had paper on them with boxes on top. Detectives believed the initial fire was set in a bedroom where Denasia's life was taken. Detectives would begin to look for the father of the kids and learned that the father of Dakota and Dove was Charles Ivy, and went to alert him of the tragedy that occurred and that his kids were in the hospital fighting for their life. At first, Charles was hard to find, but officers later found him loading suitcases and bags into an SUV outside of his home in nearby Ormond Beach. As investigators spoke with him, they noticed that he had injuries on his legs and cuts on his hands. Charles and another unknown person drove away in the SUV, and cops would pull them over. The person Charles was with told cops Charles left work around 5 p.m. that Monday and returned around midnight. Charles took off his clothes before he went inside his home like he normally does because he doesn't like the way his clothes smell once he gets off work, according to the police report. Charles told the person he suffered a leg injury and cut on his hand from removing a fender on a trailer. Charles' co-worker told investigators he clocked out around 10 p.m. that Monday night. Charles would admit to being at the apartment complex at the time of the fire, but denied partaking in the crimes, according to the edited affidavit. At this point, it was unknown who would want to hurt Denasia or her children. The Daytona Beach police chief told reporters that investigators obtained traffic camera footage showing Charles leaving the scene around the time of the fire. He also had Denasia's cell phone, according to the chief. Detectives are still trying to figure out a motive for the unaliving and arson. The police chief, who credits the first responders for getting the surviving children out of the apartment, because if they had not moved fast enough, Dakota and Dove most likely would have died. What is known about this terrible, heinous crime is the children's only injuries were a result of being left to die in a fully engulfed fire. Charles is being held without bond at the county jail on 2 counts of first-degree unaliving and attempted unaliving, plus a charge of first-degree arson. No one saw this coming.
We now know the 2 children who are in the hospital at this time, still fighting for their life, are Charles Ivey's own children with the victim. Now, police were back here at the jail trying to question him more today. They say so far he has not confessed to anything, and they still don't have a motive.
The evidence is clear. The evidence speaks for itself.
34-year-old Charles Ivey is now facing several murder, attempted murder, and arson charges. Daytona Beach detectives say on Monday night he stabbed his ex, 30-year-old Denasia Moore, then set her apartment on fire with their 4- and 5-year-old children inside and Moore's 10-month-old, the infant dying afterwards in the hospital.
What made him completely snap and do what he did to his own kid's mother? How could he leave 3 small kids in a burning home knowing that it's a horrific way to die? That little baby did not even make it to 1. Messiah was innocent. Dakota was innocent. Dove was innocent. They did not ask to be here. My question is, what made him target them, but he did not target his other baby mothers and kids? There's more that we just don't know, and I can only hope that one day Charles will confess if he did do these horrible crimes and tell why. No matter what, nothing can justify what he is alleged to have done. As he sits in jail, he has not admitted to the crimes that night, and when police found him, he had a lot of bags, so sounds like he was about to be on the run, but that speaks volumes. Now Dakota and Dove have no parents at all. Multiple families are hurting because Messiah has another father, and I'm pretty sure they are just as livid and upset as much as Denasia's family about this loss. We should all be mad about what happened. Taking someone's life is not the solution. Why do people want to spend their life in jail? Learn to make decisions based on your future. If red flags are there, move forward. Don't look back. Don't force people to do things they don't want to do. You only get one life, and once it's over, it's over. Let me know what you think this man's sentence should be. He's in a state where the death penalty is on the table. So do you think it is a life for a life? Let me know. My deepest thoughts are with all the families involved, and I pray that Dakota and Dove pull through strong, and any bad memories they may have, that they can be removed from their mind, and that they'll get good homes, because they don't deserve no more trauma in their life. So please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers for this family in this difficult time, for all these families in this difficult time, and hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember, stay woke. Things change quickly.